Just FYI, background noise is going to be a little bit of rain because weather's a bitch. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another What If. To start off my MCU What Ifs, I'm going to start off with the Eternals, as that just published a few months ago in the theaters and around a month ago on Disney+. So hopefully that's given people enough time to go and watch it, and if not, then I don't know why you clicked on this video. This story is going to cover the idea of what if the Eternals interfered. Now, when I first thought of this topic, I was very confused on where to start this, because there's many points in the MCU where the Eternals could have interfered. They could have interfered with Iron Man becoming Iron Man. They could have interfered with Captain America and becoming the first ever super soldier. But I feel like that wouldn't change much, and that really just changed out the whole layout of what I've been planning. So this is going to take place right as Infinity War happens, and I'll explain why in just a second. Now, with that brief little introduction, let's begin this first ever MCU What If. On Ajax's farm, she would be currently cooking food for Sprite to cheer her up. As she's cooking, her gem piece would come out, and Arishem would appear for the first time in a lifetime. Arishem would then say that the emergence of Tatum is in danger because of Thanos. Arishem tells Ajax to assemble the Eternals and to prepare them for war. Arishem would then disappear, and Sprite would ask Ajax what happened. Ajax would then state that they need to gather everyone together. Sprite would be confused and asked why, and Ajax would say that finally, in 7,000 years, they have finally been instructed to interfere. Sprite would go to Cersei, who would currently be in London. Ajax would then go back to the Domo, where she would find Makkari. Ajax would tell Makkari that they have been instructed to interfere, and that they need to gather the others together. Sprite would find Cersei being a teacher, and in a relationship with a man named Dan Whitman. Sprite would be happy to see Cersei, but then would pull off the band-aid and tell Cersei about Thanos. Cersei would be conflicted about this, as she'd just begun to date Dan, but Sprite would remind Cersei that everyone is at risk of erasure if they allow Thanos to get the stones. Cersei would then accept, and join them as she would depart ways with Dan, but she would promise to be back for him. She would then leave back to the Domo, where she would see that all the Eternals had been brought together. They would then have a meeting where they would make a plan to stop Thanos. Now, there are so many possibilities on how they can defeat Thanos. For all we know, Druid could just mind control him and that would be it. In the meeting, it would be decided that they would split up the Eternals. Some will go into space, and the rest will reside on Earth, waiting for Thanos to arrive. The ones who would go into space would be Icarus, Gilgamesh, Kingo, and Sprite. The rest would stay on Earth, just in case. The four would take the Domo into space, targeting Thanos' warships, and begin to take out his army piece by piece. Thanos would soon enough hear of this and would decide that he has waited long enough, and now he would strike. This would be around the time when Asgard would be destroyed, and Hulk and Thor would be defeated. Back on Earth, Ajax would pull Cersei aside and tell her the truth about the Eternals and who they really are. Cersei would be confused by this, but Ajax would say that the reason she is telling her is because she wants to stop the emergence. Cersei would be very conflicted by this. Are the Infinity Stones even capable of killing a Celestial? If so, what makes Arishem stop? It was a risky plan. News would go on about a ship in New York, and they would head there to find Tony Stark facing off against two of Thanos' Black Order members. Cersei would help in preventing collateral damage, while Druid would sneak up on Banner and trigger the Hulk to come out, but it would take a bit as Hulk would be stubborn. Druid would use the Hulk to subdue the brute called Obsidian. Cole would be strategic against Hulk, but Druid would merely mirror his movements into Hulk's. Ebony Maw would prepare to defeat Strange by strangling him, but Makkari would rush up the building and punch him off of Strange. Makkari would then jump from building to building, attacking Maw from every angle until he would catch her and throw her off. Phastos would then use his technology to subdue the Maw, and Athena would jump in and stab him. Maw would yell out in pain and would surround the Eternals with blade-carved pieces of rubble. Before he could execute them, his hand would get caught up in webs, and he would look confused until Tony would rush in and punch him across his jaw. The blades would then fall as Tony and Peter would meet the Eternals. Tony would ask who the hell are they, and before Ajax could respond, Obsidian would burst through a building face planting against the ground, and Hulk would stomp onto his back, neutralizing him. "So you finally got him out, huh, bros?" Tony would ask. "No, that brute has a hard spirit, so I gave him a little kick," would respond from Druig. Tony would then look on confused and would aim his arm towards Druig, but Hulk would then go back into being Banner. Banner's eyes would then go back to normal, and Banner would ask what happened. Tony would then shout to start explaining themselves, and the other Eternals would begin to get ready for battle until Ajax would tell them all to calm down. Ajax would then say that they are Eternals, and would explain that their mission is to stop Thanos. Strange would step in asking how they know about Thanos, with Makari signing that their leader Arishem told them about the stones. Peter would sign back, signing that she is very fast, with Makari thanking him. Tony would say that they need to get back on track. Strange would come to the conclusion that these two were sent by Thanos, Ebony Maw and Obsidian, considering, and they would be bringing them to the Sanctum. Fastos would say that he can check out the alien ship, as the others would interrogate the two Black Order members. They would then be brought to the bunker, where all their weapons and powers would be useless. Side note, but this one would be the same as the one from No Way Home. Just putting that out there. "You died, Ma. You're insane." When the interrogation would begin, they wouldn't get much out of Obsidian, but Ma would taunt them. He would ask Tony and Strange if they know the Eternals' true mission was, with Strange telling Ma that they'll be ready for anything, but Ma would laugh at this, saying that they can't prepare to kill a god without another. Strange would ask if he thinks of Thanos to be a god, and Ma would reply that once his master has all of the stones, he'll be more than that. They would leave the two in a prison as Wong would keep watch. They would go to the other Eternals, showing what they've learned, which wouldn't be much. Tony would interrupt, asking what their true purpose is. I mean, if they're from a planet called Olympia, why do they need to be on Earth? Cersei would be taken aback by this, with Ajax restating that they are here to help defeat Thanos. Their purpose isn't to harm them. Strange would tell Tony to drop it, and Tony would reluctantly listen. Druig would then comment that they don't need their help. If Stark is too stubborn enough to help, he can just control his mind. Fastos would then comment saying that they know where those two were headed after. Those two being the Black Order members once again. Tony would then say that they should go to Titan, but Ajax would say no, as the Earth needs them, and that she has allies in space that can take down Thanos. Tony would then comment saying that if they use the Time Stone against Thanos, then they have a better shot at defeating him. Strange would then say that the Time Stone must stay on Earth, but Tony would make a good point, saying that if it stays on Earth, then Thanos has a bigger reason of coming. Strange would be surprised by this, and would decide to go into space with them. Ajax would inform Icarus to go to planet Titan before Thanos is heading there. Druig would ask Ajax if they should follow them, but Ajax would say not to, as they promised to stay on Earth. Druig would listen, but would ask if they can really trust these dramatic humans to take care of it. Ajax would then say that with humans, trust goes both ways. Druig would calm down from this, and they would stay on Earth with Peter and Bruce. Bruce would then inform the team that he has gotten in touch with some old friends, and that they're meeting up at Avengers HQ. Well, the old Avengers HQ. Back in space, the Eternals would be the ones to find Thor after exploring Thanos' last sighting and the distress signal. Kingo would be surprised to see Thor and would bring him aboard. Sprite would then use her magic to awaken Thor, with Thor going nuts, but would calm down after a while. Thor would actually recognize Kingo, asking how he's been, with Kingo asking why he doesn't pick up his phone. Thor would then ask, "What's a phone?" Because the rain outside is very, very loud right now, we're going to conclude this episode right here. So, what did you guys think of this video? Did you guys think that the Eternals' help would actually benefit the heroes? And how will Tony and the others react to their true plan and their real purpose of letting the emergence happening? How will Ajax's survival change the outcome of the story? And will it bring any major changes down the road? What is Ajax planning to do with the stones? Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe so then the next part can come out much quicker. But with that out of the way, let's conclude this video right here. Peace out, y'all.
7,000 years. That's how long the battle between Eternals and Deviants has raged for. You think I'm a movie star? Well, I am. But I am also an Eternal.